Hello. My thanks to three young ladies, Joudy, Fayza and Mariam in Gaza, who told this story at the World Storytelling Cafe on the 14th of March 2023. Also, my thanks go to wonderfully creative teachers Fadwa in Gaza, Manuela Calzini in Italy, and to young international storyteller hosts John Rowe and Baba C for the transcript of this story. Now, as is tradition for all these stories from the children of Gaza, I have lit a candle in their honour and in remembrance of all those children in Gaza who are no longer with us and whose stories will be forever lost to us. The story today is The Greedy Man. Once upon a time, long, long ago, there was a very poor man called Jack, who lived with his daughter Sarah in the very poorest part of town. They were honest folk who scratched a living every day. They would go out and rummage in the trash thrown out by wealthier folks to try and find scraps of food or something they could swap for food. Sarah was a typical street waif. She was bone thin and her hair hung in dirty, tangled braids. Her clothes were threadbare and heavily patched. But if you looked closely, you would see her eyes shone and her face was set in a determination to survive. On the other hand, Kevin was a wealthy man. His goal in life was to collect as much money as possible. He was held in very high regard by his peers, and he was a member of the best guilds and societies in the town. And he even had a seat on the council, where he would use his influence to manipulate and trick others out of their money to satisfy his hunger for gold coins. Well, one day Kevin was walking in the town on his way to buy a valuable whatnot from the local antique shop. As he rounded a corner, his bag, which contained 50 gold coins to pay for this whatnot, it came loose from his belt and fell into a pile of trash that he had swerved to avoid when he was rounding the corner. Well, when he got to the shop to buy the whatnot, he realised his bag was lost. He searched for the bag himself, and he asked his friends and neighbours, but nobody had found it. He knocked on every door in the town, and he promised a big reward to anyone who found his bag. Well, the word spread throughout the town about this bag. And later in the day, Sarah, when she was rummaging around for food, found the bag in the pile of trash, and she took it home to her father Jack. He opened the bag and was amazed, and he counted out the gold coins that were inside. 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Well, being so poor, Jack was sorely tempted to keep this fortune and make life better for his daughter and himself. However, his conscience and his honesty prevailed, and they decided to return the bag to Kevin without taking any of the coins, despite his extreme poverty, and he hoped that the promised reward would help him and Sarah survive a little bit longer. Kevin was very happy to get his bag back. He counted out the coins: 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50. Well, friends, Kevin just couldn't help himself, and he lied, saying, "Hey, there were 75 gold coins in this bag, and you've returned only 50. Where are the rest? You must have stolen them. You're a thief. The judge shall hear of this travesty." Jack was shocked and replied, "I swear on my daughter's life, I didn't take any coins." Kevin, being much stronger than Jack, dragged him in front of the judge and up the street to the courthouse, and the townsfolk, seeing this happening, followed on, ever curious to see a spectacle, of course. They followed them to the courthouse. Inside, the judge asked Jack how many coins were in the bag, and he confirmed there were only 50 coins. The judge turned to Kevin, and he said, "Now then, Kevin, you stated before this court that there were 75 coins in your bag. You are claiming 25 are missing. Are you sure?" Kevin shouted so that everybody could hear him, "Yes, there were 75 coins. He's a thief, and I want them back now." The judge then said, "Well, I have considered these statements carefully. The bag that was lost by Kevin contained 75 coins, but the bag that Jack's daughter Sarah found contained only 50 coins. It is clear to me, therefore, this bag doesn't belong to you, Kevin. My judgment is thus. Jack, since no one has made petition to this court of a loss of a bag containing 50 coins, then this bag belongs by right to you. Take it, Jack, with the court's blessing." As a result, Kevin lost all his gold because of his greed and dishonesty, while the poor man received a very unexpected reward for being honest and just. Friends, this story is as relevant today as it has always been, as we find ourselves facing corrupt politicians, dictators, governments, etc., who think that because of their power or influence, they can use it to fuel their greed and ambition to the detriment of those they should be serving in humility. The story serves as a warning to those who think that greed is normal. Thank you.